Hello to the chicos, hello to the chicas. It is not very often that I have to force a smile, but today is a day like that because, oh man, I recorded 3 coaching sessions with Derek in one lesson. But it was gonna be 3 videos, and as some of you might have seen it, I removed the video. Unfortunately, the audio was completely botched on his end, so you can't hear what he was saying. And so here I am now, basically re-uploading the video now without Derek on the line, so it's going to be rather one-sided. I am still going to attempt doing some justice to the content that we created. Shout out to Derek for A, allowing me to record it, and B, for being a really cool partner in it, which actually did make it a really good video. What can you do? You win some, you lose some. I definitely lost this one, so next time I will have to check all audio settings to make sure it doesn't happen. And now I'm going to show you the first game of a batch of 4 that Derek played in the Washington Seniors, I think. Derek is my student. He's in the white trunks 1500, 1573 to be precise, and his opponent is 1836 OTB. Derek plays my club players 1d4 repertoire with the white pieces, and so we are going into a well-known line of the Queen's Gambit accepted, except here our opponent rather mysteriously opts to play e6, allowing Derek to capture the pawn. Of course, the purpose of a6 is to play b5, creating a pawn chain, defending c4, and putting the onus back on white to prove that they have enough compensation for the pawn. e6 is nonsensical, bishop takes c4, or e5 and bishop takes c4. And white has a dominant and leading edge already as early as 7 moves. This is important to note, by the way, because I still have a feeling that some of the decisions Derek has made in this game were impacted by an insufficient or ineffective evaluation process. Take b5, the bishop comes back to d3, bishop b7, castles. Very healthy, awesome position. We have got a lovely center. We have got Kasparov's favorite attacking tool, the e5 pawn. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go and do yourself a favor and have a look at my Chessable course, Chess Principles Reloaded King Safety, in which I discuss that a pawn on e5 always contributes to a very potent attack on the king side because, among other reasons, the existence of a pawn on e5 means that there is no knight defending the king on f6. Bishop e7 played, rook e1 played, fine, castles, and this is where the wheels started to come off. Actually, I wanted to show you already here something. There's a really cool and unexpected move here that white can play. If you want to pause the video, do so now, please. If you want to figure it out. And in order to work out this little detail, I think the best way to find out the idea, or to find the idea, is to use pattern recognition / analogy. And in chess, this ability that you can make obscure connections between positions that you have seen and positions that you are currently playing is an absolutely fundamental thing to accelerate one's improvement. Let me show you an example. So here the move that white could consider that is really cute and cool is knight e2. Why is it so good? It has, well, it does have a lot to do with knight e4, but the primary idea is to pave the way for queen g4. Right? And from this, you need to build, or either subconsciously you build a motif or a pattern in your head that when there is no knight on f6 and the king hasn't castled, queen g4. The most obvious way to know this is if you are just 1.2%, 0.1% familiar with the French Winnova, where the main move here for white, by far the most popular, well, one of the most popular, queen g4. Why? Because there is no defender on g7, there is no knight on f6 to hurt the queen, and obviously defending g7 is a bit of a problem, because if we castle here, then later on we are going to face potential consequences of bishop h6, but also having the queen outside of the diagonal of the knight means that queen h5, knight g5, kingside attack is just absolutely mental. And the queen is really secure and safe on g4. It cannot really be attacked. So this is the pattern, right? And as soon as you see it, you know it's game on. And then this pattern, and by the way, this is something I didn't really explain this thoroughly to Derek in the lesson, works in multiple other scenarios. Queen g4 here, especially after knight e4, queen g4 is actually a winning move. It's the same concept on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. And so when you are playing this position, inevitably it should occur to you that, wouldn't it be nice to have the queen on g4? And then a move like knight e2 is going to occur to you. It's undeveloping, it's ugly, but it's actually a fundamentally super aggressive move, because what it wants to do is to go forward, go forward, go forward, go forward, and checkmate. And sometimes these moves, or rather the moves that we choose instead of these, are the barriers for our development when someone in a position like this plays bishop f4, which is a perfectly, utterly irrelevant move that contributes none whatsoever to white's position. It doesn't do anything, right? Whereas knight d2 actively blocks the bishop, and yet this is a fabulous move. But in order to justify this, you need to understand the underlying idea. Anyway, the more important miss happened a move later, and that actually made me a little bit sad. Because in this position, after rook e1 castles, once again, if you want to figure out the best move, please pause the video. We have got a super basic attacking pattern, in fact at least two. Yeah, we opted for queen c2, which funnily enough the engine even approves. And I really, really, really strongly dislike it. And the reason for that is because it's a pseudo-aggressive move. It pretends to be aggressive without actually doing anything aggressive. What we are doing is forcing h6, and now we have to respond to the fact that this trade might take place. And so we are likely to play bishop e4, and with this, we are putting the game on an entirely new direction and trajectory, which is going to be that we are beginning to trade pieces. And because of we have got more space, more dynamic potential, and a slightly inferior structure, these pawns are blockaded, trades are our worst enemies. And so this idea was definitely not to be followed. Instead, we simply needed to adjust the order of the two pieces and go after the king side with this battery, which does create a super nasty attack, forces a much more meaningful weakening move. Note that queen c2 could be dealt with h6. Hello, like easy. When you put them in the correct order, queen in the front, h6 is never gonna cut it. So they need to create a seriously play a seriously weakening move. Now we get another tempo, and then we can complete development if we want. We can start thinking about pushing h4 here. Speaking of the devil, that was the final idea here. h4, knight g5, and we are incoming again. Even if you have never seen this, even if you play down my repertoire, which Derek does, there is a chance you will come across this, and I will tell you why. Because in the Tarrasch, we play... they can turn the Tarrasch into a Panov attack, right? And in the Panov, our main line in this position is h4. It's in the exact same course where, you know, our friend learned the Queen's Gambit declined variation. So again, you can't memorize everything in life, but patternalizing is very possible. Not everything, but a lot. And we see here a pattern. And the pattern is that if take, 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 the rook e3, rook h3 gives white tremendous attack. Tremendous attack. And so now we have got a very similar scenario in the game where we can here just go h4. And as you can see, the skeleton of the position is the same. The bishop here, the rook lift, the other bishop pointing that way too. Perfect. And if they don't take, then, you know, the classic attacking pattern of queen h5, or even knight h7 actually, is very good. But I would just go queen h5, withdraw the knight, and take on h6. It's already Carnage City, like plus 2.5. Note again the vicious aggression, right? Now compare this to what happened in the game. Excuse me, we played queen c2, we played bishop e4. This is always sad when we trade this bishop, which was a key figure in the attack. And a4 I did like, it did turn on the heat. But after knight d7, we have reached the critical position where again, Derek played a move that I very strongly spoke against for the same reason that you heard earlier. And I told Derek here that now we can forget about the kingside attack, but we still have space advantage and greater piece mobility. What we need to do with it is to constantly apply pressure. a4 has applied pressure, but our next move does the complete opposite. The opposite of applying pressure when we are a little bit ahead in terms of space, dynamism, and so on, is to offer trades. And so now we repeated the same mistake back to back twice, where in fact after rook b1, black would have had a difficult time to defend b5, because c6 just entombs everything on the queen side and it makes the position ridiculous. Can't take because there is pain on b7, and take would allow the queen again to show up on the king side, better still, even the rook. And once again, we have got a very potent kingside attack developing. We actually looked at a fascinating line here, which was maybe knight, some move, and then we looked at the possibility of this take. And it was actually Derek. I'm so glad that I remembered this because he deserves credit. I didn't see the win here. He found it. So the win is like you zigzag up, check, here, here. And in this position, you pull the rook back. No, it doesn't work here because of rook g8. But rook g3 was the winning idea with rook h3. Oh, yeah. No, I'm a potato. Of course. Yes, it is rook g3. But you need to do it with the queen on f4 so that we are attacking f7. Yeah, that's it. So in this position, rook g3. And rook h3 queen mate is unstoppable. Derek and I were looking at this and I couldn't find the win, and Derek ultimately did. Right? So again, you see that if you focus on putting on the pressure instead of, oh well, there's nothing else left in the position, let's trade that guy off, that's gonna kill the game. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. Trade. And everything is just coming off. Like abundance of... And again, there was absolutely zero need for us to trade this here too, by the way, in order to open up the A file. But you find that this is almost always one of the greatest pitfalls for club level players, that when they don't know what to do, very often they go to modus operandi is to trade. For no particular reason, like not that they see an advantage in it or anything at all. It's just somehow, I think subconsciously, simplification keeps them, it makes them feel safer, which always is a false concept. You don't want to feel safe in chess, you want to feel winning. And we ended up losing this endgame. I don't want to go into the intricacies of this. Now, a final and parting thought about this game is that watching my YouTube channel actually does wonders for you. I looked it up, and I've got multiple IQP videos on my channel, and one in particular that I remembered is the one where I discussed the world famous game Smyslov Karpov. And what is the winning pattern there? And this is something that I told Derek too, that in our repertoire multiple times in IQPs we go for this plan. Rook e1, a3. Why is a3 played? To dodge knight b4. Why do we need to dodge knight b4? Because the plan is queen c2, not... No. The plan is bishop c2. And queen d3. And I would like to be a believer that if you see and actually spend some time, not just, you know, see but take it in, this game, anywhere, in a book, on my YouTube channel, God forbid, you are going to remember this. Because look at what happens. Bang, d5. Actually, no, it happened in a... No, I brought up the wrong Karpov game. Now I need to improvise. Oh, no, it is this one. Smyslov forgot to play here d5. I'm a potato. And it's already winning, because after ed bishop g5, there's no way to stop the mate without losing material. Thank God I didn't embarrass myself, and I remembered what was cooking here. So the idea is g6, yeah, because otherwise we take and take. g6, rook takes c7. c up, wouldn't want to be up. Knight e7, bishop f6, queen e7, knight d5. If you see this once and you play IQP, you should remember this idea of a3, bishop c2, queen d3. Because this is the very heart of White's initiative. That we set up this super dirty attack and we provoke some kind of weakness. And then we can feast on that and further increase our piece mobility. Put the bishop here, knight e5, yada yada yada. So, long story short, I am very, very sad that you didn't get to guys listen to the full video. I tried my best in this one to recreate what we discussed and what kind of pointers did I use and where I recommended Derek, you know, to look, what to look up, what to do next. And obviously, top amongst them or chief amongst what we needed to look up was this queen d3 idea, which I now presented to you from the world famous Smyslov Karpov game. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me for now, folks. Thank you very much for your patience, and once again, shout out to those 200 people who decided to watch it even without half of the audio. Yeah, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to sub, to like, to comment down below, and I will be back with the next video soon.